Hello, hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel Thinking Forward with Dima. So on today's episode, I decided to do something a little bit special for you guys, which is investor profiling. It's basically me encouraging you guys to do some bit of introspective work before you start and invest in a multitude of things. So to dive right into it, in the space of investing, we categorize people into three different groups. You have your conservative investors, your moderate investors, and your aggressive investors. And from these terms, I'm sure one could be able to tell like how each would behave in those groups. And if you still can't tell, please keep watching because I'm gonna give you all the information needed, and hopefully it's super helpful to you. It was to me. So with your conservative investors, when it comes to the risk tolerance of a conservative investor, they're more concerned about capital preservation above making a profit. So it's someone who you'd say has $1 million right now, and in 5 years time wants this million to still be worth $1 million in 5 years time, because you all know time value of money loses its value over time. And the other thing is that they don't want to take on any risk of losing their money. So it's someone who would say is well off and doesn't want to disposition himself or herself from being well off. And people in this category tend to be people who are in retirement or are going into retirement, like from the ages of 50 and above, as well as say someone who inherited their money and wants to spend it in a few years time. They're more concerned about conserving what they have long term instead of like taking on chances to beat the market and make a profit. They're not that people. They're not those. They just like, hey, I want to keep what I have, beat inflation, and I'm gonna sip my tea and relax. So in my opinion, a portfolio which would be best suited for a conservative investor should constitute of 60% bank investments, 30% bonds, government bonds or corporate bonds, as well as 20% in shares. And with the 20% in shares, this is to enable you to beat inflation and have like a percentage that's a bit above the inflation rate, because at times, interest rate fluctuates and your bank investments sometimes hardly outperform the changes and fluctuations that happen in the market. So to stay safe, have a bit of shares to be able to beat inflation and other factors that are in the market that could devalue your money. So moving on to a moderate investor, these are individuals who are willing to take on risk to be able to earn a profit. We can say they have the elements of being conservative, as they want their capital to be preserved long term, but they take on a bit of risk, which makes them moderate so that they can earn profit while that capital is being preserved and beating inflation. So for example, you have 100,000. You want that 100,000 in 5 years time to still be worth 100,000, but in this instance you also want that 100,000 to earn you a profit. So at the end of the day, you want in 5 years time for you to have money that's worth your 100,000 plus a bit of extra. So you want the cake plus the cream. That's being moderate. You just want a bit of profit above your initial investment. And when it comes to the portfolio construction of a moderate investor, the best investments to consider, in my opinion, would be investing 55% of your capital into shares, 37% into bonds and bank investments, and the remaining 8% into cash and cash equivalents. And in most cases, to talk more about moderate investors, these are individuals who are like 18, just got a job, or 23, just got a job. They're not willing to take on risk. They just want to make a bit of profit to buy maybe a bag or something 5 years later, or maybe 2 years later. They're not concerned about making money from the market. They just want to profit so that they can fulfill their short-term and long-term investment objectives. So moving on to aggressive investors, I'd say I consider myself an aggressive investor from time to time, but like, hey, if you know what you're doing, you know what you're doing. And if you don't know, keep watching Thinking Forward with Dima, and I'ma set you up nice with information and strategies you can consider while you're making your investment choices. And back to the lesson, with the risk tolerance of a aggressive investor, you can hear it in the name. They're willing to take on a large amount of risk to earn a greater profit. So we can say these are individuals who are interested in their capital growing long term and short term, as well as earning high profits while their capital grows. And in most cases, investors that are aggressive are usually young people, because they're still young. They want to make money left, right, and center, and they're not concerned about taking on large risks that may or may not work out properly. And when it comes to the portfolio construction of a aggressive investor, the investments to consider, in my opinion, that would reap great rewards would be investing 70% of your capital into shares, 25% into bonds and bank investments, and 5% into cash and cash equivalents. That would be the best portfolio for someone who's aggressive, who wants their capital to grow as well as earn high profits while doing that. To end things off, thank you guys for tuning in, and if you have any questions you'd like to ask about the video and what I was saying in the whole video, or a certain word, please do leave a comment. I'll be sure to answer whatever questions that you may have. And please subscribe and hit that bell icon. Support, even like, hit a like if it was informative, because the main point is to give you guys information that's valuable, that will help you reach your investment goals. And in other videos, I'll be giving you guys scripts as to how to value companies, what to look for, so that you can profit while you're buying shares, because you know what you're looking for in companies before you buy the shares. Giving you guys value, so living style, living sharp, or living right.